My daughter-in-law pressured my son into selling the ranch my great-grandfather built. None of them knew I held her parents' mortgage. I kept that quiet the day they told me I was finally free. We were at the old pine table my grandfather planed by hand in 1923. The top is scarred with 100 family arguments and 1,000 breakfasts. Outside, the cottonwoods along the creek rattled in a dry wind, like they were trying to warn me. "Dad, we did it," my son Daniel said, eyes shining. "Full asking price. This changes everything." Across from him, my daughter-in-law Olivia held a neat folder with the developer's logo. Excitement burned in her eyes, but it was not for the land. It was for the number in her head. 840 acres. Prime development. The kind of phrase that makes people forget who bled on the soil. "Changes everything for who?" I asked. They shared that rehearsed little glance married couples have when they have already decided something. "For you, Dad," Daniel said. "For all of us. No more worrying about droughts and cattle prices. You can move into a nice place by the lake. Relax. Travel. You are 74. You deserve it." Olivia leaned in, laying the folder between us as if she were delivering a blessing. "We spoke to the developer's people," she said. "My parents helped with negotiations. Without them, the offer would have been much lower. This is a great opportunity." Of course her parents were involved. Her parents, Leonard and Carol Hart, live in a stucco house on the lake. A boat, a dock, and neighbors who use rural as a punchline. They had never liked that their daughter married a rancher's son instead of the orthodontist they had lined up. That changed when they saw a survey map of my boundary lines. Suddenly, I was sitting on generational wealth. I looked past them through the window, the barn, the windmill, the faded red truck leaning near the fence. My great-grandfather started this place with 2 oxen, a wagon, and a bad back. My father nearly lost it twice. I buried my wife here. To my son, it had become a problem to solve. "Times are different," Olivia said, seeing my face. "This land is worth more as houses than as cows and dirt. We are thinking about Emma's future. Private school, connections, a chance to get out of this place." This place. The words hurt more than I wanted to admit. Under the table, my fingers touched the edge of another folder. Not the developer's, a plainer one. Inside it was a mortgage note I had bought 3 years earlier. Borrowers, Leonard and Carol Hart. Property, 214 Lakeside Drive. Outstanding balance, $468,000. Current holder, Clearwater Holdings, LLC. Manager, Samuel Ortiz. Me. They thought they owed a bank. The bank had been happy to sell their shaky loan to an old rancher with cash and a good handshake. I had told myself it was an investment, a way to keep my granddaughter's other grandparents from losing their home. That day at my kitchen table, it became something else. "I thought you always said the ranch would go to Emma," I said. Olivia's smile thinned. "Assets can look different," she said. "She will still inherit, just not dirt." "Dad," Daniel said, his tone softening, "we are trying to help you. We already talked with First Pioneer about your loans. The developer pays off the operating line and the equipment note. You get a lump sum and no more stress." "You talked to the bank?" I asked. "Yes," he said. "They have all the numbers. We just need your signature to move to the formal contract." So he had already been to my bank, read my balances, discussed my debt, using the power of attorney I gave him after Maria died so he could help with paperwork. "You are the last piece," Olivia said, smiling like she was being kind. Last piece. Not the owner. Not the man who had hauled hay in a snowstorm at 3 in the morning because a storm was coming. Just the final obstacle to their plan. I felt very old and suddenly very awake. "You already involved your parents?" I asked Olivia. "Of course," she said. "They have so much experience in real estate. They talked to their loan officer. He is the same one who helped them with their house. I almost laughed. I knew that loan officer. I knew that house. On paper, I owned it. When do you need my answer? I said. Soon, Daniel said. The developer wants to move fast. They are talking about breaking ground by spring. I signed the page acknowledging we had received the offer. Not the sale contract, just enough to move things along, as Olivia said. It made them happy. As their SUV rolled down the gravel driveway, dust rising behind them, I watched from the porch. Olivia was already on her phone, almost certainly calling her parents. Then I went back inside, took the manila envelope with the Hart's mortgage from the drawer, and set it on the table where my father used to drink his morning coffee. They thought the ranch was the only chess piece on the board. They had forgotten who set the board up in the first place. I was born in the back bedroom of this ranch in the middle of a thunderstorm. My father delivered me because the doctor could not cross the flooded creek. I took my first steps on this floor. I broke my arm falling out of the hayloft. I kissed a girl for the first time under the cottonwood at the north fence. Every important thing in my life happened inside these fences. My wife Maria loved this place even more than I did. She died of a fast, mean cancer 4 years before all this. In her hospice room, she grabbed my wrist, bone-thin fingers stronger than I wanted them to be. "Keep the ranch as long as it keeps you," she whispered, "and do not let your stubbornness cost you our son." At the time, that sounded simple. Then Olivia arrived. Daniel met her in Denver working for an equipment supplier. I had pushed him to try life off the ranch. I did not want him to resent the land the way my father once had. "Go see the world," I told him. "The ranch will be here." He came back with Olivia. The first time she stepped out of the car here, she squinted at the barns and corrals like she was looking at ruins. "It is rustic," she said. "It is home," Maria answered. "For now," Olivia murmured. I should have paid more attention to those 2 words. I did not. My son loved her. That was enough for me then. Her parents paid for the rehearsal dinner at their country club. On the balcony, with the lake glittering behind him, Leonard clapped a hand on my shoulder. "You ever think about what that land is worth, Sam?" he asked, nodding vaguely toward the hills. "Not in cattle, in rooftops, golf course. You are sitting on a gold mine." "It is not for sale," I said. "For now," he replied, smiling. Years later, I met him again in First Pioneer Bank, cramped office smelling of toner and coffee. I had come to refinance an operating line. He sat across from the loan officer with Carol, their posture stiff. "Mr. Ortiz is here," the receptionist said, opening the door by mistake. The loan officer waved me in. "Leonard, Carol, this is Sam," he said. "One of our better investors." "Borrowers," I said automatically. He smiled nervously. "Sometimes both," he said. "We were just discussing options for their mortgage." Their lake house had dropped in value. They had refinanced twice to fund investments, and a boutique that did not earn what they hoped. Now they were 2 missed payments from default. "The bank cannot refinance again," the loan officer said. "We can consider a short sale, but otherwise we will have to start foreclosure." Carol's face crumpled. "We cannot lose the house," she whispered. Jim, the loan officer, glanced at me. "Sometimes," he said slowly, "we sell notes to private investors. It cleans our books and gives borrowers more flexibility. No guarantees, but—" He let it hang. Leonard looked at me. "You buying mortgages now?" he asked. "When cattle prices drop, you look for steady income," I said. "Notes can be that." "What is in it for you?" he asked. "Interest," I said. "Security. Maybe keeping my granddaughter from watching her grandparents move to a cheap apartment in another state." We worked out a deal. Clearwater Holdings, my little LLC, bought their note from First Pioneer. The Hart checks went to a P.O. box. They thought they still dealt with the bank. I adjusted their rate, gave them extra time when they were late. I told myself I was doing the right thing. I did not connect this to the ranch. Not yet. That came later, when my son sat at my table speaking in a developer's language and my daughter-in-law talked about cows and dirt like they were trash on her shoes. After they left that day with their folder and their excitement, I drove to town. First Pioneer was busy. I went straight to Jim's office. "I am here as Clearwater Holdings," I said, setting the Hart file down. He raised his eyebrows. "What can I do for you?" "I want to confirm something," I said. "If the borrower is more than 60 days late, the holder of the note can accelerate the loan, demand the full balance." "In theory," he said carefully. "Most lenders work with people, payment plans, forbearance. It is rarely in anyone's interest to foreclose." "I have been working with them for 3 years," I said. "Late payments, partial payments. I cut the rate. I have been patient. That patience is financing their lifestyle while they walk my son into selling his birthright." His eyes widened a fraction. "This is about your ranch," he said. "This is about gravity," I said. "You jump off a roof, you hit the ground. I am done cushioning the fall." "You know they will fight," he said. "They have a lawyer. They will call you a monster. They might drag your name through the mud." "They already did," I said. "Just not in court." He sighed. "Legally, you are within your rights. They are already 1 month late. If they miss the next, you are over 60 days. We can send a notice of default and demand a cure. After 30 days, you can accelerate. After that, foreclosure." "Prepare the notice," I said. "Make sure it is perfect." Driving home, the land rolled out on either side of the road, brown and tired, but still mine. I knew every dip and rock. For the first time in months, my mind felt clear. They thought I would just sign. They had forgotten I knew how to sign things too. The weeks between that bank visit and the signing of the formal purchase contract felt like standing on the porch watching a storm crawl toward you. Surveyors came driving metal stakes into my pastures. Olivia followed them, snapping pictures. "The views are incredible," she said. "They might move the clubhouse up here. Premium lots." "Your great-grandfather's ashes are scattered on that hill," I said. She shrugged. "He will still be here," she said, "just with better property values." Daniel kept calling. "Caleb says due diligence is going smooth," he said. "Title is clean. They are thrilled you agreed to the life estate." The life estate was the one thing I insisted on. 3 acres around the house, mine until I died. They could build their cul-de-sacs around me, but not over my roof. Olivia barely noticed that clause. The price tag dazzled her. "It does not affect the number," she said. "If they want you for their marketing story, they have to let you keep your little farmhouse." One afternoon, Emma came out to the barn while the adults argued over where the model homes would go. "Grandpa," she asked, "if we move, will the ranch still be here?" "The land will," I said. "The ranch, not the way you know it." "I do not want to live in a house with other houses right next to it," she said. "It smells like grass here, and cookies." "Grass, manure, and your grandma's cookies," I said. She smiled, but it did not reach her eyes. "Mom says you will be happier in a smaller place," she whispered. "Are you?" "No," I said, "but I am not finished yet." She did not understand, but she nodded as if she did. Later I drove into town and met with a different lawyer. We set up a trust, Maria Ortiz Legacy Trust. Beneficiaries, Emma and any other grandchildren I might have. Not Daniel, not Olivia, not the Harts. The trust would receive whatever remained of my share of the ranch sale. It would own my 3 acres when I died. It would own any new land I bought. It could not be used as collateral by my son. It could not sell its property without unanimous consent from the grandkids once they came of age. "You sure you want to skip your son as an heir?" the lawyer asked. "I am not skipping him as my son," I said. "Just as a man I hand a loaded checkbook to." By the time we sat down with the developer's representative, 3 quiet weapons lay ready: the Hart mortgage, the notice of default prepared and waiting, and the trust papers. The developer's man was named Caleb. Young, clean boots, big smile. "We are excited to partner with you, Mr. Ortiz," he said. "We really value the story of this land." "You are not partnering," I said. "You are buying." He smiled wider. He went through the numbers. Sale price, payoff of my debts, closing in 60 days, marketing plans, a plaque with my great-grandfather's name on it at the clubhouse. He skimmed over the life estate clause. He did not know about the trust. He did not care about my mortgage on the Hart's house. "Ready to sign?" he asked. Daniel looked at me, expectant and hopeful. Olivia watched my hand like a hawk. "For the record," I said, "I hate this." "We know," Daniel said gently, "but we will make you proud." I almost asked him when exactly he thought that would start. Instead, I picked up the pen and signed. The sale was not closed yet, but the train had left the station. After they toasted with sparkling cider, Olivia said, "We are having dinner with my parents to celebrate. You should come, Dad." "I have work," I said. "Work?" she scoffed. "You just sold the ranch." "The land does not care about contracts," I said. "Until we close, the cattle still need feeding." They left. The house felt hollow. I took the notice of default Jim had mailed me, slid it into an envelope with a short note, and addressed it to Leonard and Carol. "Consider this your first and only warning that the ground is shifting. S. Ortiz, Clearwater Holdings." The next morning I drove into town and dropped it in the blue mailbox. The second hook in this story came 2 weeks later, disguised as Sunday dinner. They wanted one last meal as a family at the ranch before things got crazy with construction. They brought groceries and wine. Leonard carried a bakery cake. Carol fussed in my kitchen like she owned it. "You must be relieved, Sam," she said. "Time to enjoy life." "I have been enjoying it," I said. She chuckled, assuming I was joking. Leonard poured himself a drink. "You made the right move," he said. "I have seen men hold on until the bank takes everything. You got ahead of it." "You tried to talk me into selling years ago," I said. He gave a little shrug. "Better late than never." Olivia talked non-stop about their future: a custom house in the new development, private school for Emma, vacations. Daniel nodded, half excited, half nervous. Emma picked at her food, eyes on her plate. "Something wrong?" I asked. She shook her head. "I am just not hungry." Before I could say more, the doorbell rang. I was not expecting anyone. 2 county deputies stood on my porch, hats in hand. "Evening, Mr. Ortiz," one said. "Sorry to bother you. We are here to serve a notice." "On who?" I asked, though I already knew. "Leonard Hart," he said. I looked at them for a moment, then stepped aside. "Come on in," I said. When they walked into the kitchen in their uniforms, conversation died. "Leonard Hart?" the deputy asked. Leonard tried a smile. "That is me. What is this about?" The deputy handed him an envelope. "Notice of default and intent to accelerate on the mortgage for 214 Lakeside Drive," he said. "You have 30 days to cure the default before the lender can proceed. Details are inside." Olivia stared. "Our loan is with First Pioneer," she said. "We talked to them." The deputy shook his head. According to this, the note was assigned to Clearwater Holdings, LLC 3 years ago. Carol's hand flew to her mouth. "I thought that was a servicing company," she whispered. "The letters came from the same P.O. box." "You, just need to sign here for receipt," the deputy said. Leonard scrawled his name, jaw clenched. "We will take care of this," he snapped. "Of course," I said mildly. The deputies left in a rush, happy to be out of the tension. Olivia ripped open the envelope. Past due amount, 7,200, she read aloud. Total amount due to cure default, 9,043. You did not pay last month? We had obligations, Leonard said. Your brother needed help. We thought once the ranch sale closed. You thought this was your safety net, I said. They all turned to me. Olivia's voice was thin. What does Clearwater have to do with you? I walked to the sideboard, took out a copy of the assignment, and laid it beside the casserole dish. 3 years ago, I said, First Pioneer sold your note to Clearwater Holdings. Clearwater Holdings is my company. I am the lender on your house. Olivia read the document, lips moving, until she reached my signature. Her head snapped up. You own my parents' mortgage? She whispered. I own the paper, I said. I bought it when the bank was ready to foreclose. I lowered the rate. I gave them extra time whenever they were late. I did it quietly so no one had to lose face. Leonard stood up so fast his chair scraped the floor. You set us up, he said. You waited until now to strike, right in the middle of this deal. I waited 3 years, I said. I never sent a notice the first time you were late, or the 10th. I bought your loan when the bank was done with you. You had mercy you did not know about. That stops when you start treating my land like your personal jackpot. This is about the ranch, Olivia said. This is about respect, I replied. Carol started crying. We will lose everything, she said. You will lose the house if you do not pay, I said. You will still have each other. That is more than some people have when they lose what they love. Daniel finally spoke. Dad, he said, what does this mean for them? It means they have 30 days to come up with 9,000, I said. Or the whole balance is due. If they cannot pay, I foreclose. Olivia's voice turned sharp. You would put my parents on the street to punish us. I am not punishing you, I said. I am refusing to keep paying for choices you make while you call my life's work dirt. You have always helped us, she said. Tuition, the down payment, emergencies. That is what family does. Family helps when someone falls, I said. Family does not push a man off his porch and then complain when he grabs the railing. She glared. If you do this, she said, we are done. Do you understand? When this sale closes, you will not be welcome in our new home. You will not see Emma unless we say so. Then you better hope you raised a child who wants to live in that world, I said calmly. They left soon after. Dessert went uneaten. The next 30 days were loud. Leonard called, trying charm first. Sam, we are family, he said. We can work something out. Give us a little more time. You have had 3 years, I answered. He switched to anger. We will sue, he threatened. We will drag you into court. You can, I said. The documents will hold up. Carol begged. Please, Sam, she cried. We made mistakes, but we never meant to hurt you. Maybe not, I said, but you did not flinch when your daughter talked about paving over my pastures. Olivia came once more, eyes red. You do not have to do this, she said. I have to do something, I replied. This is what I chose. They did not pay. They did not sell the boat, or the Mercedes, or their timeshare. They waited for a miracle. The only thing that arrived on time was the notice of acceleration. Then came court. Their lawyer tried to argue I had acted in bad faith, that the bank misled them, that I had a conflict of interest. The judge looked at the dates, the payment history, the notice letters. I see a lender who gave you 3 extra years, he said. I do not see bad faith. The gavel came down. My stomach twisted, but I did not flinch. At the foreclosure auction, Clearwater Holdings made the opening bid. No one topped it. The lake house passed into the hands of the Maria Ortiz Legacy Trust. The same week, the ranch sale closed. The developer's money flowed through the title company, paying off my debts first. The remaining sum that was mine wired straight into the trust's account, bypassing Daniel entirely. The land I had spent my life on now belonged to a company we would see printed on glossy brochures. My 3 acres and house remained mine until I died. The trust held the cash and now the heart place. Daniel and Olivia rented a townhouse in the city, waiting for their custom home to rise on what used to be my south pasture. Emma put on a blazer with a school crest and started riding a bus instead of a horse. 2 months later, Leonard and Carol drove up my lane in a rented moving truck, exhausted and small. "The court says you own the house now," Carol said. "The accounts are frozen. We have nowhere else to go." "You could talk to the new owner," I said. "Who?" Leonard asked bitterly. "Some investor?" "The Maria Ortiz Legacy Trust," I said. "I manage it." They stared like I had grown another head. "What do you want from us?" Carol whispered. "I want you to understand where your safety has been coming from," I said. "You used to hide that from yourself. Now you cannot." Their pride was gone. There was only fear. "I will give you one option," I said. "The trust will rent the lake house back to you at half market rate. You will sign a lease with strict terms. 1 late payment and you are out. No more loans, no more games." "Why?" Leonard asked. "After everything?" "Because my granddaughter loves your dock," I said. "And because my wife would not want her Christmases spent in a motel." They signed the lease with shaking hands. They moved back into their home, now knowing exactly whose name sat on the deed. In town, people talked. Some called me ruthless. Some called me clever. Some called me stupid for not just selling the place. I did not bother correcting any of them. The only person whose opinion mattered came to see me on New Year's Eve. The ranch house was quieter than any holiday I remembered. No Maria, no grown-up kids, just the ticking clock and the cold. Daniel stood in the doorway with his hat in his hands like a boy about to confess to breaking a window. "Dad," he said. "Come in," I replied. He did, closing the door gently behind him. "I saw the paperwork," he said. "You bought their house. You rent it to them. You put the sale money in a trust I cannot touch." "Yes," I said. He took a breath. "Everyone in Olivia's circle says you manipulated us," he said. "That you had this planned. That I should fight you in court." "What do you say?" I asked. He swallowed. "I say I used the power you gave me to betray you," he said. "I went behind your back. I treated your land like chips in a game. And I am sorry." I had waited months to hear that. "It was not all you," I said. "I made it easy. I paid for your mistakes for years. I let you think there were no consequences. That is on me." He glanced at the old window, where you can still see out to the cottonwoods, and beyond, the beginning of the construction site. Distant hammering faintly reached us when the wind shifted. "Is it too late?" he asked quietly. "To fix any of this? For us? For Emma?" I thought about the trust documents in my desk, about the rocky land listing folded nearby. "It is too late for this ranch the way it was," I said. "The developers are already cutting roads. That is done. But it is not too late to decide what we do with what is left." I took out the trust folder and set it on the table. "This trust owns your in-laws' house now," I said. "It owns my sale proceeds. When I die, it will own these 3 acres. The beneficiaries are Emma and any other grandkids, not you." He flipped through the pages. I watched the realization hit. "You cut me out," he whispered. "I cut you out of control," I said. "You still have me. You still have my name. You just do not get the keys to the vault. That privilege goes straight to your daughter when she is grown." He nodded slowly, tears in his eyes. "I deserve that," he said. "Maybe," I said. "But I am not done with you." He looked up. "What do you mean?" I slid another paper toward him. A listing for 160 acres of rough land 30 miles west. Hilly, brushy, cheap. "The trust can buy this," I said. "No lake view, no developer interest. Just rocks, mesquite, and a seasonal creek. It needs fences. It needs sweat. It needs a steward." "You want me to run another ranch?" he said, disbelief warring with something like hope. I want to see if you remember what this life really is, I said. Not signatures, not meetings, mending wire, checking water, watching a storm and counting your cattle afterward. What about Olivia? He asked. That is your problem, I said. I am not in your marriage. I am in your bloodline. He laughed once, broken and real. She will hate this, he said. I know, I said. She will probably say I am manipulating you again. Maybe she is right, but I would rather be accused of manipulating you toward work than watch you drown in someone else's idea of success. He looked at the listing again. Do you think Emma would like it? He asked. She told me she likes places that smell like grass, I said. We were quiet for a moment. Dad, he said. Yes? If we do this, will you come to our new house here? The one in the development, when it is built. Why? I asked. Because Emma will want you there, he said. And because even if it hurts, I want you to see that I'm trying to be different than the man who sat here with that developer. I thought of Olivia's threat. You will not be welcome in our new home. I will come if you invite me, I said. And I will leave when I need air. He smiled through wet eyes. That is fair, he said. The next morning we drove west in my old truck. The land on the listing was worse in person, rocks everywhere, brush thick, creek bed mostly dry. But the sky was wide. The silence was clean. Emma jumped out of the truck and ran ahead, arms wide. Can we build a barn here? She shouted. If we have hands to do it, I called back. Daniel watched her, then looked at me. I do not deserve this chance, he said. Probably not, I said, but I am giving it anyway. What you do with it is on you. We shook hands on that dry hill, not as investor and client, not even as father and son exactly, but as two men who had both learned the hard way what land means. The trust bought the place. Developers kept eating away at my old ranch. Streets with names like Maria Way and Ortiz Ridge started showing up on county maps, laid over fields where I once doctored calves. Olivia moved into their new house eventually, smaller than she had hoped, with fewer upgrades than she wanted. Her parents paid their rent on time every month. Fear is a good bookkeeper. Sometimes I drive past the Hart place and see them on the dock with Emma, fishing in the evening light. They nod when they see me. There is more humility in their faces now. Sometimes I drive past what used to be my south pasture. Children ride bikes on the cul-de-sac where we used to push cattle. My great-grandfather's name sits on a brass plaque by a path. People jog past it without reading. But out west, on that rocky 160 acres, a barn is rising slowly. Fence posts are going in one at a time. A girl in muddy boots rides an old mare along a crude fence line, her father walking beside her, counting posts, learning where the ground softens after a rain. And an old man, who once thought he had lost everything, stands at the top of a hill and breathes. My daughter-in-law pressured my son into selling the ranch my great-grandfather built. None of them knew I held her parents' mortgage. They know now. More importantly, my son knows this. Land is not just numbers to be shuffled or pawned off when the right offer comes along. It is earned back one hard day at a time, and this time, if my family wants to keep it, they will have to work for it.
My grandpa's words really happened. I believe him. If you want more true tales like this, hit subscribe.